Hello, this is Ivy Johnson again. So my subject is science, and my grade level is 9 through 12. My lesson duration is 60 minutes, and my subject is sexually transmitted diseases/infections and how to prevent them. The goal for this assignment is to teach the students what STDs and STIs look like and how to prevent the transmission of them. The students will become aware of how their actions could prevent the transmission of these diseases and infections. These students will also be aware of what steps they can take in the future to help protect themselves and others. So my state standards identify why abstinence is the most effective method for the prevention of HIV and other STDs in pregnancy, describe the short and long-term effects of HIV, AIDS, and other STDs, analyze STD rates among teens, evaluate the safety and effectiveness of including success and failure rates of FDA-approved condoms and other contraceptives in preventing HIV, other STDs, and pregnancy. Evaluate how HIV, AIDS, and other STDs or pregnancy could impact life goals. Identify short and long-term goals related to abstinence and maintaining reproductive and sexual health, including the use of FDA-approved condoms and other contraceptives for pregnancy and STD prevention. So the materials needed are a PowerPoint presentation, whiteboard, dry erase markers, a pen or a pencil, paper, activity cards, high, low, no risk signs for the activity, tape, and markers. So um, I have the lesson broken down into 10-minute increments and then a 15-minute small group um, this activity, and then a 5-minute discussion. So the first 10 minutes will have the question, what are some ways STDs and STIs can be transmitted from one person to another? This will be written on the board, and the students will take 5 minutes to answer the question on the paper that they have, and then that will provide 5 minutes for them to discuss their answers. Um, and then after that 10 minutes is up, we'll move on to the next 10 minutes, which this will be a discussion on STIs and STDs. We'll go over the first 5 slides of PowerPoints, which will cover um, just a brief overview of STDs and STIs, which ones um, are spread through skin and skin contact, which ones are spread, how they're spread, etc. The next 10 minutes will be an activity. So this is called the risk spectrum activity. So there'll be a high, low, no risk card. So these are all separate high risk, low risk, no risk cards. And I'll place them on the board in a spectrum. And then I'll have activity cards, which these activities will be risky activities. So anal sex, oral sex, holding hands, kissing, or uh, yeah, um, just these type, sexual activities will be passed out to the students, and then the students each student will receive at least one, and the students will then place the activity cards on the spectrum based on what they think the risk level is for that. So obviously, like holding hands would be no risk because there really is no risk for any sort of sexual transmission. And then obviously, like vaginal sex would be more on the high risk spectrum, or uh, protected vaginal sex would be on the low risk, etc. And then at the end of this, we'll discuss why certain diseases are highly risky while others might not be. And then the next 10 minutes will be a lesson on reducing risk. So we'll cover the next few slides on the presentation, which will all be about protection, abstinence, testing, knowing the signs, talking to your partner, etc. Um, and this will be based on the risk spectrum activity, looking at those activities or those risky activities. And then the last 15 minutes will be a small group presentation or a small group poster, I guess, on prevention So the students will gather in groups of 4 and create a poster on how to reduce risk of transmission and what steps they should take to protect themselves and others. So um, they'll have the opportunity to take those markers and create their own poster on how they will prevent possible transmission. And then at the very end of this 15 minutes, we'll give the students 5 minutes to walk around and look at the other finished posters and get more of an idea of ways to prevent and protect themselves. And in the last 5 minutes, we'll have a class discussion on the posters. And then for my assessment, as the teacher, I'll just review the posters and assess. They'll be reviewed and assessed based on the knowledge that was presented on the posters. And that's it.